The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and gone. Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good. Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Holy three. Good. Holy ball. Out Shelley. Three ball. Good. Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you and happy Monday. What a weekend. Going to tell you about a lot of different things on the show today. We're also going to have a live conversation with Derek Radley. I shouldn't say live. I'm so used to that, actually. We talked to Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach, earlier today. We have that interview for you coming up, your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. A lot of things to tell you about today, including some NFL news, some Pro Ducks updates, and, well, maybe a decision this week on Pac-12 sports. We'll tell you about that. We're going to talk about all the different scenarios that are out there, and honestly, we're all just kind of counting down the days, I think, until Thursday. You know, like how you count down the days for the first day of school, and there's like some nervous energy about it, right? But usually, and I'm talking not like first day of school when you're like in high school. When you're in high school, you don't want to go back to school. I get that. But, you know, today is actually around the Eugene Springfield community, the first day of school for, I believe, everybody in public schools. Is that right? Scott has kids.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, we did online today.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is there's a comparison to be made here. The first day of school, when you're a little kid, like elementary school, it's kind of like you're anxious, you're nervous, but you're also just like excited. It's like that anxious, excited. I feel like we all feel that way in the sporting landscape in the Pac-12, just trying to get to Thursday. And here's why. Because after we got off the air on Friday, the Pac-12 announced that a decision would be coming potentially on Thursday. This statement from September 18th, which was Friday, the Pac-12 CEO group had an informative and productive meeting earlier today. Remember, that was Friday. We plan to reconvene this coming Thursday, September 24th, to make a decision regarding possible return to play prior to January 1st. The health and safety of our student athletes and all those connected to Pac-12 sports will continue to be our number one priority in all of our decision making. Thursday. I feel like that statement was like when your teacher assignment gets posted. When I was a kid, it was you had to go to the front door of the office of the school, and it was like the week before. You had to read where your name was on the list. You had to figure out what class assignment. I don't know if it still works that way. Scott doesn't either.
I think it's all on your phone now.
Oh, all right. Well, that's not as exciting. But so that day, for me, when I was a little kid, it was like the first day that you got to interact and see some of your friends you hadn't seen over the summer, you know? Like you see your closest friends over the summer. Maybe you go to summer camp with them or something, but you see everybody that day. And then it's like the countdown is on, and you have this like anxious, nervous excitedness coming. That's what Friday felt like for me. It's like the first day of school could potentially be Thursday. So at the end of the day, that's what the Pac-12 announced, is that they're going to meet again on Thursday, and then hopefully they will have an announcement on Thursday, regardless of what the leaders of the Pac-12 decide. We'll tell you about it on Duck Insider. I'll answer all the questions that I can on the show, but at the end of the day, the decision makers and the powers that be, we're going to find out, I think, a lot on Thursday, so the countdown is on. So what do we do on the show until Thursday? Well, a lot of things. We've got some Pro Ducks news, and dare I say, I was the one that wrote the show description. My show descriptions usually aren't great. I'm not great at that, to be honest with everybody. I hope that it encourages people to watch nonetheless. But did you like my pun that Justin Herbert had an electric NFL debut?
Oh, I get it.
Plays for the Chargers, bolt up, the Bolts. electric debut. I can't be the only person that made that dad joke, right? I mean, that has to be the worst dad joke that I've made in probably a day. At least that's the worst one that I made today. So Justin Herbert, though, outstanding in his pro Duck debut. Our Inside Look is always brought to you by Oregon Imaging Centers, a proud sponsor of University of Oregon Athletics. Oregon Imaging Centers would like to remind you that you have a voice in choosing your medical imaging provider. Our Inside Look at Justin Herbert's NFL debut. Am I the only one that had flashbacks to the Rose Bowl when he scored his first touchdown on that run? Rolls out to the right, sees an opening, takes it, scores, gets hit late, and scores a touchdown. Very similar to the Rose Bowl. I can't be the only Duck that was thinking that, right? I seriously had like a flashback, and I actually went back, watched the Rose Bowl play again, and I will say I thought the Rose Bowl play was much more impressive, but it was very similar. Like, his last rushing touchdown that he scored in college was a lot like his rushing touchdown that he scored to open his NFL career. Pretty awesome. The news was that Justin didn't know he was going to start. Tyrod Taylor is now week to week. He was dealing with injury, so Justin Herbert gets the start. What a start it was. Also, that first pass touchdown that he had, back left corner of the end zone, was a bullet and an absolute dime. Rexy said it too in the comments on Facebook. Great touchdown pass. It was. I mean, he looks like an NFL quarterback. He looks like an NFL quarterback. He did make one mistake on the interception. I know a lot of people are going to point to that. Made the one mistake. But still, the numbers are impressive, and especially doing it against Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champions. I mean, the Chargers had him on the ropes. Now, as a 49ers fan, I'll be honest, I was having flashbacks to the Super Bowl when Patrick Mahomes was leading that comeback, and let's just say they weren't good flashbacks. Patrick Mahomes is really, really good. I mean, the guy on the other team, pretty good too. Kelly Schuchart is our general manager at Oregon Sports Properties, the sponsorship wing of Oregon Athletics, and Kelly is a huge Chargers fan. So when the Chargers picked Justin Herbert, I think Kelly, who graduated from Oregon as well, was just like, oh, this is great. Like, everyone's going to be a Chargers fan now. Just like how if you were a Titans fan before Marcus went there, then like, oh, this is great. Duck fans are going to be Titans fans now. Well, Justin Herbert was really, really good. And so, Kelly, for your Chargers, I'm sorry that they lost the way they did. Join the club just like the 49ers seeing those comebacks. Justin Herbert, though, your Oregon Imaging Center's Inside Look, 22 of 33 in his NFL debut, 311 yards, averaged 9.4 yards per completion, a touchdown, an interception, only got sacked twice, a quarterback rating, really, really good, actually, of 94.4. That was higher than Patrick Mahomes in this game. Patrick Mahomes went 27 of 47 for a 90.9 rating. So Justin Herbert, I think the argument could be made that he played right there, maybe even outplayed Patrick Mahomes, the many people think MVP of the league for many more years to come. What a performance from Justin Herbert, and really, really cool to see him shine in that opportunity. A lot of people were talking about how it's kind of throwing him into the fire, and that's what you have to be ready for, and no one is going to learn a playbook faster than Justin Herbert. It is probably uncommon for him to not be the smartest person in the room. Very common for him to be the smartest person in the room. He's just that kind of guy and that kind of brain. Bad ending, but man, what a debut. And now I think a lot of people, myself included, are like, what do you do if you're the Chargers? Because obviously, as Duck fans, we want to see Justin Herbert play and succeed. He did pretty well in his first start, so do you really have to say, like, oh, yeah, he can give him some time to adjust? I think he adjusted pretty darn quick. He always learns an offense fast. I think you're seeing that. Congratulations to Justin Herbert. We've talked about the story, and I think really the story's been told so many times. He he grows up in the shadow of Autzen Stadium, right? And, you know, it's like when Jerry Allen was talking about it this weekend, actually, as part of our OSN Classic broadcast presented by Toyota. He was like, hey, you know, for Justin, it was like his recruiting trip was he walked over from his house to Autzen and then he walked home. I mean, it's a little different when you grow up in Eugene, but what a cool story. And I think all Duck fans can be rooting for him. That's pretty awesome. And congratulations to Justin Herbert. Your Oregon Imaging Center's inside look. Choose quality, choose service, choose Oregon Imaging Centers. The choice is yours. It was cool watching him play. Also, how about Ugo Amadi's play? Just a couple other product notes from the NFL weekend. The way that he sniffed out that play, got a lot of credit on Twitter for it. Really cool for him to come up, make that tackle in a big situation, in a big game. Ugo Amadi, just one of a few product notes for you, which is really, really cool. I am so glad that we have the NFL to watch again. And the fact that we have so many products to talk about is a testament to what is happening around Oregon football. With Coach Cristobal now, and just I think we are seeing just such a golden era for that program and really for the entire athletic department. It's just really cool. So now let's hope that we can get back to seeing that football once we can do it safely, and hopefully we'll have a decision to tell you about on Thursday. A little bit more on that. I want to catch up on a couple of your Facebook comments and questions, YouTube as well. Keep them coming. I'll do my best to answer as best I can. Obviously, we're all kind of just waiting for decisions to be made, so I don't know the answers to all the questions, but I can try. And we're also going to hear from Derek Radley. Awesome conversation with the Oregon women's golf head coach earlier today. He's great. If you haven't heard us speak to him on the show before, you're going to want to wait and hear from Derek Radley. We talked to him for about 25 minutes, actually. He was awesome. All right, give me a quick timeout. When we come back, I'll answer some of your Facebook comments and questions as best I can. Try to unpack everything that's going on in the sporting world. I'm Joey Mack. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio after I catch up on some comments and questions on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. All right, I did see Marvin's asking what rank we start out at. So what he's referring to, I believe, is, remember the Associated Press poll had the Ducks as a preseason top 10 team. Then with some conferences playing, others not, those rankings changed, obviously. So the question now is, I don't know. I would assume if I was a voter in the Associated Press poll, and I guess I have a couple buddies or a couple colleagues, I should say, that are voters. I could ask them. I would assume that they'll be back into polls as those things continue to move forward, but I don't know the answer to that. I would assume very similar to what the Ducks were before. And then Adam asking about if they approve a return, what things could look like for practice and competition. Yeah, I think those are all great questions, Adam. At the end of the day, we don't know what things are going to look like yet because we don't know if the Pac-12 is going to return yet. So the first part of my answer to that is we don't know, because things like that will, I think, get decided if the Pac-12 decides to come back. I will say that I think everybody is taking a look at all the different scenarios and different ways to do this, and at the end of the day, the schools are going to decide whatever's best for student athletes to do it safely. Look, I know people are maybe a little bit tired of hearing that, but that really is the truth. It's the focus, especially here at Oregon. That's just the way that things operate. And then how many games, Adam's asking, I don't know. I would assume I don't know. And look, it's tough for me. I'll just be honest with everybody. It's tough for me to sit here and try to answer some of those questions because I have them too. And I think everybody does. But we just don't know. And let me say this. If we're having to answer those questions next week, I think that's a good thing for our fans and for getting back to football once we can do it safely. And I know, again, I get it. It's sort of like it's sort of like coach speak, as they say, right? Like you don't want to just hear the same things over and over again. But it just isn't fair of me to sit here and speculate, and while there are decision makers who are trying to figure out these very difficult things, it's just not fair of me to sit here and speculate. I will say, though, that I think that there's cautious optimism. Is that fair? I mean, I think that's been sort of the theme. I loved it when Mike Menega and Mark Campbell, two coaches for men's and women's basketball here at Oregon, respectively, that's what they were kind of saying about the lead up to the announcement that now basketball season can start on the 25th of November. And, does the Pac-12 decide now on Thursday as well to move up to that date? Because originally the Pac-12 had said postpone through the end of the calendar year for all sports. There's cautious optimism. Those guys both said it, and I think that that's the prevailing feeling is cautious optimism right now. That probably didn't answer any questions. I did my best. Yeah, I hope that we are answering those questions with more detail, I think, in the next week. And I think that's where the cautious optimism comes from. I hope. Fingers crossed. Double fingers crossed. Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf coach. We caught up with him earlier today. He is a great interview. Really, really awesome. So this past weekend, he was actually up in Portland for the LPGA event. He's going to talk about that. And his student athletes have the unique opportunity with the way golf is structured that they can still be competing, in some cases, as professional competition. So even though they're still amateurs, they can compete in some of these pro events. It's actually kind of a cool deal, and it's allowed them to still compete. Derek Radley talking about that and a whole lot more as we checked in with the Oregon women's golf head coach. Let's talk a little bit of golf. I think that we can all say we're glad that the smoke has cleared because it means you might be able to get back out to the golf course. I imagine that Derek Radley felt that way as we are going to chat now with the Oregon women's golf head coach. First of all, Coach, thanks for doing this. And one, I love the flag behind you. So first of all, where are you coming from? Is this the home office here?
Joey, what's up, buddy? Thanks so much for having me, man. It's great to see you. I love the flow going on right now. Yeah.
We couldn't even get through 30 seconds.
Sorry. I had to, interesting fact. So I actually, since college, I cut my own hair.
Really?
How about that? I have. So if you need me, I can help you. We'll just wear our masks and well, that might not be social distance. I don't know.
Well, so this is the thing, though. I mean, you're getting right into my wheelhouse here because I've left it long. This is the longest that it's been probably since I was in high school, to be honest. So it's been like a decade, and I was like, well, they're saying that getting haircuts is one of the things that's really, really difficult to do with adhering to guidelines. So I was like, well, I guess I should let it go. And then, Coach, I got to tell you, then I made the mistake of saying, hey, I'll get it cut when we play live sports again. Well, we're hoping that we have some positivity and some cautious optimism around that right now, but I'm still waiting. So, Coach, I might need you. I might need you. So yeah, you
call me up, buddy.
You look great. I mean, that's a good trim. You're gonna have to teach me your ways.
I kind of got one style though. So if you're okay with this, that's what it'll look like.
All right, I'll take it. So obviously we're talking to you from home right now, Coach. I mean, what's this been like for you? I mean, and I guess just your feeling of how this has all changed and just what the heck's been going on over the last few months.
Yeah, it's been certainly challenging for all of us. I am extremely proud of our women's golf team and our ladies for how positive they've stayed through all of this. So we got home, I remember, from Tucson, Arizona. We competed, was our last tournament in March, and we got home on March 10th. We had team practice on March 12th, and everybody was home with their family safely by March 16th.
Wow.
So it's certainly, been difficult, but we've stayed connected through Zoom calls, and I'm really happy for them that most of them, if not all of them, have been able to play in golf tournaments this past summer. We have a lot of international ladies on the team, and so their countries have been doing great, especially our three from Taiwan. Mm-hmm. Taiwan is a country that really kind of closed up when all this thing happened, and so they've been able to compete. I actually saw like a video of a concert taking place there, which is crazy to think. So, and then, Sophie's in Denmark, and then we got our three in California. So they're all safe and doing well. And I'm just thankful that they've been able to get out and play some golf again.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, I feel like, golf is a sport that we've seen can endure through this, not a contact sport. And I guess your perspective on that, Coach, and I would hope that golf is a sport that we can continue to see more and more of as we try to figure out how to navigate these waters.
I'll tell you, the golf industry is thriving during these times.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I've talked to our local pros here at Eugene Country Club and Emerald Valley and Shadow Hills, and they're getting more play than ever. So people are getting out and taking advantage. And, certainly golf is a sport that everybody can play. And so I'm thankful that we can still get out there and do what we love.
Hey, you were up, I got to ask you about this with the idea of golf still enduring. You were up at the LPGA event this past weekend. Tell fans a little bit about that if you could.
I was. So about 3 weeks ago, I received a phone call from my former boss, the head women's golf coach at Arizona. I was the assistant coach there for 6 seasons and a part of the 2018 national championship team. And so Coach Laura, she called me and asked, she said, hey, former Wildcat Bianca Pagdanganan, who is from the Philippines, who is now a rookie on the LPGA Tour, she's trying to get a hold of you. And so is it okay if I give her your new number? Because I think she may want you to caddy for her.
Cool.
So I got a hold of Bianca, and she asked me, and boy, I was so honored. And I did. I went up to Portland. I was there all this past week. I actually got a chance to run into former Duck Caroline Inglis.
Oh, nice.
Who is she's rocking it out there. She's healthy again. Her back is healed. Caroline's having an amazing year. She's made, I think, 4 cuts and finished like tied for 22nd in the British Open, in the ladies British Open. So she's doing great. But yeah, I had a chance to caddy for Bianca, and I popped a few ibuprofen every morning carrying that bag. I'll tell you, I used to caddy for my wife years ago because my wife, Sarah, she played out there. It's been a while, man. So I had to get these legs back in caddy work in order. I'll tell you a funny story. So we're out there on the first round, and I'm caddying for Bianca. And Bianca is actually the longest hitter right now on the LPGA Tour. And she's just so talented and just a wonderful kid. And so she hits it, and we're out there and we're playing, and it starts to rain a little bit. So now as a caddy, you have to be responsible to get the umbrella, and, and I'm trying to hand the towel, and I'm in a frantic, trying to. And so she taps out, and I walk to the next tee, and she looks at me and she goes, Coach T, I think the group behind you might need that. And I'm holding the flag stick in my hand. I'm like, so I go running back and put the flag in. And these caddies were giving me such a hard time out there. They're like, thank goodness you're a coach and not a caddy. I'm like, I'll leave that up to you guys, man. So,
well, see, that's funny though, because I was just about to ask you. Like, I feel like sometimes when you're caddying and just the way you're analyzing the golf course, I know a lot of golfers will talk to their caddy and they have a lot of trust. I mean, it's kind of similar to coaching, isn't it? A little bit.
So we can do everything a caddy can do except for carry the clubs.
Right.
So I can jump in and help our lady ducks make decisions and course management and all that kind of stuff, and then I can go jump back in the cart, take a sip of my coffee, and drive up. Now I'm carrying the clubs and walking. So I was a little sore, but she made the cut, made a few bucks this weekend. And really, I got to just see it was so cool for me because a lot of the players out there I'm really close friends with through my wife that are still out there playing from when my wife did. And now I get a chance to run into this whole wave of new collegiate players that I've known, watched recruiting trail and watched them play for our teams, other teams. And so it's just really neat to get back out there, man. I've been kind of cooped up, since this whole thing has gone down. So to get back on the golf course, it was just an honor. And I passed my COVID test that I took. So I was good. Yeah. So I was good to go.
It's a good week. Good week to be Derek Radley. That's what I said, right? I mean, it is. We're going to continue talking with the Oregon women's golf head coach a little bit more about his team and the way that things have changed and how they're still able to be competing even though sports are postponed here. Golf is unique in that circumstance, and Coach Radley talks about that coming up. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. We'll talk more with Derek Radley after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports-watching drink of all time, Pepsi. With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
It could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. And, it's going to be fun to talk with Derek Radley coming up in a moment. But I also had a lot of fun this weekend with Jerry, Georgie, and Terry actually up in the Autzen press box. So we did our broadcast from the booth. We were spaced out Jerry and Georgie, I have never seen them that far apart doing a broadcast. It was actually really interesting. Normally, Jerry and Georgie they tend. This is kind of a funny story. They tend to get closer and closer together as the game goes on because sometimes they'll high five each other after touchdowns or they'll get tense. And if you ever hear occasionally you'll hear paper smack against a hand. Normally that's Georgie. It was really interesting. So just with us doing all the right things, right? Jerry and Georgie were as far away as they can be. I think I actually asked them if they measured. It was 9 feet though, at least. Terry's in the level above them, and then I was in the booth next door, and that's how we did our classic broadcast. I gotta say, it was actually super fun to listen back to those guys call a game, and then as I'm sitting there listening to them critique themselves, from a broadcaster standpoint, this was gold for me. They're listening to themselves, and then they're saying Georgie will say oh, I messed that one up or something. I mean, it's just I thought it was really fun. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. 11 a.m. every Saturday for our 2019 classic season. We're reliving it with you, sort of the director's commentary on last season, if you will, and it was a lot of fun. Duck Insider brought to you by North Fork Public House, open for dine-in and takeout, northforkeugene.com. Happy to report that Georgie did mention that he knows that I won picks last year. So
where's the lunch?
Well, I told him I'm waiting for it to be able to be in person. We want to be able to do it in person.
And we need pictures or video, something, so we can.
We will.
All right.
We will. I just, hopefully we're able to do that sooner than later. I hope. Derek Radley, part 2 of our conversation with the Oregon women's golf head coach, talking about what his athletes are up to now and really what the postponement has meant for their season. Derek Radley, we continue our conversation with the Oregon women's golf head coach. Head coach, Oregon women's golf, joining us. Coach, I imagine that for any program, having a pro repertoire, if you will, helps you. So for Caroline Inglis, I'm glad that you brought her up because we've been following her as part of our Products updates on the show. And God, it's been great to see her just killing it out there. And you mentioned she's healthy again. Just how much does that help? Just one, I guess, elaborate a little bit more on how cool that is. And then two, how much does that help your program to be hey, look at what Caroline Inglis is doing out on the recruiting trail when you're going and trying to find your next wave of Caroline Inglises?
Yeah, it's huge, and I'm so proud of her and so thankful. We asked her to take over our team Instagram page this past week, so she did a little live stories that were phenomenal, and she just kind of took everybody through what she does as a pro now and how being an Oregon Duck has helped lead her to the LPGA Tour. And she had some back troubles, and it was challenging and difficult there for a while, but she's back, stronger than ever, and certainly. From a recruiting standpoint, most of these young ladies that we're talking to want to be her and they want to be on that next level. And so to have a Duck that has actually gone through the program and is out there now and being extremely successful, we're extremely thankful for. So Caroline is awesome and very thankful to have her.
Derek Radley joining us. All right, let's go back to your current squad and just what it was like losing that spring season, Coach. You mentioned that you got everybody safe and they're still able to compete a little bit, but that had to hurt, didn't it, to lose that spring season, and now still some unknowns trying to figure out what it's going to look like in the next few months.
It was definitely challenging. I can remember our last team practice when we kind of found out everything. We were at Emerald Valley, and we kind of stopped everything and went inside of the clubhouse and ordered some tater tots and sat around and had some tears and shared some stories from the year, and then certainly made sure they got home safe. But we're building steam. Coach Monica and I, we've been working so hard, and this will be our third season upcoming here, taking over the women's golf program, and we finished up this last year ranked 14th in the country, and we have a superstar joining our team this year, our new incoming freshman. Xinyu Liu, her English name is Cynthia, and Cynthia right now is ranked 70th in the world. And so she's going to join along with our other stars on this team. And although we were cut short this last year, we still had some big accolades, which I was really extremely happy that they awarded. One in particular was Sophie Kibsgard Nielsen. Sophie received an All-American award last year. And so she was the fourth ever in our women's golf program to do that. As a freshman, is absolutely incredible. So we're just looking for new ladies to keep coming in here every year and raising the bar. And I'm extremely thankful, like I said earlier, that they're able to play in golf tournaments this summer. Sophie actually just won a few weeks back the Danish stroke play. I think she shot 8 under in that tournament, and she just played in a pro event in Sweden and finished 7th. And then we have our ladies in Taiwan. Heather, she competed. So in Taiwan, there's actually what's called a TLPGA. Okay. And so our ladies as amateurs have an opportunity to play in these pro events. And Heather finished top 20, and I think she finished 19th in a pro event. Zihan Lynn Heather, she's going to be a junior for us this year. And who else? Cynthia, our incoming freshman, she finished top 10 in that event as well. And then Brianna Chacon has just been crushing it. Our young lady from Southern California, she's going to be a sophomore on our team this year. She represented us in the U.S. Women's Amateur this year. And then she actually just finished second about a month ago in the SCG A Women's AM. She shot 11 under par. And so, our ladies have just been absolutely crushing it this summer. Also, our senior, Alexis Padun Mark-Voriko. I'm getting pretty good at announcing her name. That's pretty good. We call her AP, but she's our lone senior this year, and she won an event this summer as well, the West Coast Women's AM. So, it's just been awesome. They're working so hard, whether they're here or at home, and I think they're tasting the little bit of success that we've had since Coach Mo and I have been here, and we're certainly thankful for their hard work. So whether here or there, they have one goal in mind, and it's really, really cool to see.
Hey, seeing them be able to compete has been awesome. I mean, I love just being able to talk about them has been great on the show. And, I'm curious, Coach, how do you go about coaching them from afar in this? I mean, you mentioned that you're staying in touch on Zoom, which I know has got to be tough on your sleep schedule with the time changes. But how do you go about coaching them from afar? I mean, how much can you do at this point?
So golf is really unique in that they don't have to pass the ball to any of their teammates.
That's true.
So, right. So once they're out there, they're on their own. But, we have statistical programs that we go through with them. And it's really kind of neat, to be honest, this time spent with them. We've really hit home on the mental game. And, something that we don't necessarily get a lot of opportunity to do because we're so busy when they are here on campus. So we've really been addressing that. And, and a lot of them have swing coaches or national teams that they play for. So they have great resources at home that they've had their whole life. And so we love staying in contact with their swing coaches or their national coaches and really all working together to make sure that they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting because you mentioned that a lot of times you hear from athletes that you don't want too many voices, right? Kind of talking to them, but it sounds like you guys just must in the golf community have a great relationship with each other. I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of a cool aspect to what you guys are doing, having a lot of different people have the same common interest, and that's the well-being of the student athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, it needs to make sure that there's not too many hands involved, so it's not conflicting ideas or theories. However, one of my favorite things to do is, being a golf instructor previous to coaching, is to really make friendships with these young ladies instructors. And so, they're people that have been involved in their lives for a long time, really since they were little for the most part. So, talking to them, and then usually mom or dad know them the best, and maybe what kind of food they like to eat, before they go play well, or what color outfit they need to wear to be feeling good on the golf course, right? But no, relationships are certainly important, and we value that.
Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach. We're going to continue our conversation with him, talking about what the challenges ahead for his program, what they're thinking about around the golf community heading into the spring. And we hope that we'll see a championship for women's golf around the NCAA in the spring. Thomas Marsh says, Joe, you need an Oregon golf ball on your desk or something golf-related. You're right. I do. I do not have a golf ball on the desk. I'm a terrible golfer. The running joke that I've had with Coach Radley, actually Coach Vaughn as well, his assistant, Monica Vaughn, and over the years with Casey Martin, I've been like, no, you guys don't want me anywhere near a golf course. But you're right. I'll have to figure out if I can get a golf ball with an O on it. We'll get on it.
Sort of like club cover with an O.
There you go. Club cover. Yeah. But I don't even own golf clubs. I'm so bad It's a baseball swing, and it will always be a baseball swing. A quick timeout. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. More with Derek Radley inside the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Let's taste was as good as the original, maybe even better.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. As good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Everybody buckle up. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. We continue our conversation with Oregon women's golf head coach Derek Radley, checking in with him and what he and his squad are going to be up to as they face some challenges ahead now heading into the spring season. Our conversation with Derek Radley rolls on. How has recruiting changed with all this? I know you guys already do such a great job recruiting internationally, so I imagine remote recruiting is a big part of what you were already doing, but just how is recruiting different now, Coach? What are some of your strategies that you're having to employ that maybe you didn't before?
So this was step one right here, baby. Put the flag up.
All right. I like it.
So you're in my recruiting headquarters right now. I'm in my loft of the house here upstairs. I got Nerf guns over here for my two little guys. I got the Oregon flag. Yeah. So I usually catch one of those in the back of the head during a call.
It's a good recruiting strategy, I'm telling you. I mean, it feels like home.
Yeah, the little guys come say hi. You know, that never hurts.
That's right.
But no, it's I've always tried to keep a positive outlook on things, and certainly 2020 has brought some difficult challenges. And so I've always felt like if I can remain positive, our ladies can feed off that, and certainly recruits can feed off that. So I'm thankful that we have this technology that we can continue to get to know these recruits, and them get to know us, because it's important. And I think, a lot of what we do is just the relationships that we build with these student athletes. So whether we can watch them on the golf course or can't, we're trying to certainly take advantage when we can to talk to them and get to know them. And like I said, them get to know us.
Tell fans a little bit more about Coach Mo. I always like to ask you every time I get a chance to ask about your assistant coach. She's pretty good golfer in her own right too. She's
the best. So Coach Mo, I have to tell you, so she actually played in it's called the PDX Amateur Open. Mm-hmm. And so it's an amateur event. So Coach Mo was professional for a while, but she actually petitioned to get her amateur status back. And so she is an AM again. And so she competed in this event, and the low amateur in this event actually gets a sponsor's exemption into the LPGA event in Portland that I caddied for this past week. And she finished second. So she missed it by a couple shots. And you may remember Zihan Lin for us, Heather, actually had won that exemption last year and played in the LPGA event for the Ducks. So so she finished second. She was thinking she might get in and she might not. And then I told her I was caddying, and she called me. She goes, I don't think I'm going to get in, but I think I've been asked to caddy too. And I'm like, no way. So she went out there, and she caddied for a former 4-ball partner of hers and good friend who's on the LPGA tour now. And they were out there. And so it was the first round, and there was a little bit of thunderstorms coming in, which it turned out to be a great thing because it cleared all this smoke, and we were able to get the tournament in. But we come in, and all the players and the caddies, we huddle up in the clubhouse, and she comes walking in, and she looks down at me and she goes, why are you wearing tennis shoes? What are you doing? She goes, your feet got to be soaked. And I look at her and I'm like, you have golf shoes on? And she goes, yeah, it's wet out here. And I go, Coach Mo, as a caddy, you cannot wear golf shoes. It's a strict rule. You have to wear flat bottom tennis shoes. And if you wear golf shoes as a caddy, your player can get fined, like, I don't even know how much. And so she's like, oh my gosh. So she's run into the car and changed her shoes and came back. And I don't think anybody really noticed. So that was that was our caddy week. I'm carrying the flag stick to the next hole, and she's wearing golf shoes, but we made it through.
Hey, I mean, that's just the player though in Monica Vaughn, right? I mean, she was ready to go. She's like, I'm on the golf course. Yeah, I'm on the golf course.
She's like, this caddy thing, I want to go play. Yeah, she was ready to play. But certainly it was awesome to see her out there, and she's been just so instrumental to the success of this program. I mean, to have somebody who, she's 25 years old. She's just removed from the scene just a few years ago. She won national championship in 2017 as an individual, and her team did as well. To have her by my side, this is going to be our third year together, and I'm so proud of her and the progress she's made as a coach. She's always been one of the best persons I've ever known. And so the progress she's made is just awesome. And the girls on the team just absolutely love her.
You guys have been bringing, I think, a new bar. Every year it seems like the bar gets set higher and higher for Oregon women's golf, which has just been awesome to see. Derek Radley joining us, Oregon women's golf head coach. Challenges ahead, Coach. I mean, what are you guys thinking about in the golf landscape? You and Coach Mo, even your colleagues around the country. What are the challenges ahead with this whole thing, and how are you guys navigating it?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Much like other sports, there's some conferences playing and some not. And so when the decision came out to, postpone our fall sports, because even though we are a spring sport, we still usually play 4 tournaments in the fall. And oddly enough, today, actually, September 21st, would have been our first round in our first tournament of the season. We would have been in Colorado today. So, it's been challenging, but we decided, our leadership, Joey, is just from our administration here. I am beyond thankful for, and I've talked to so many of our other coaches here at Oregon, and with Rob Mullins and Lisa Peterson, and especially Jody Sykes. Jody Sykes is our women's golf supervisor, and just to ask them, get leadership. They keep in constant communication with us so that we can communicate with our team. And I know it's not like that all over the country. And so I'm forever thankful for that during these difficult times. And so, when the decision came out to postpone fall sports, we talked to Jody a lot, and Coach Mo and I, we made the decision to give our team an option if they wanted to come back to Eugene this fall or if they wanted to stay home. And like I said, so many of them compete on national teams and they have great facilities at home. And so when the decision came out that classes are going to be online, most of them made the decision to stay home this fall. And so, we want to be supportive. I think they were extremely thankful for that, to know that they're going to stay safe. They're home with mom and dad, and we're going to continue to do what we've been doing. 4 out of the 7 ladies on our team right now have the best ranking they've ever had. So this is working, and we're just going to keep going with it. They're going to check in from an academic standpoint, make sure that they're ready to go, and they can receive tutors whenever they need to via Zoom, and make sure their academics are good. And keep working hard on the golf course, and hopefully we can be ready to go in January when they all get back.
Yeah, I know that's got to be tough. You got to be geared up and ready come January. It's just such an unprecedented time. I think everybody's trying to figure out how to navigate that for sure. Well, Coach, I got to say, hey, thanks for always taking the time to come on and chat with us. It's always great to catch up with you. I hope that you're not too sore after the LPGA, though.
Ibuprofen. I'll tell you, I just took 2 every morning with my eggs and my bacon and my coffee, and I stepped on the scale this morning. I lost 8 pounds from caddying last week, which I needed to. So I'm getting rid of that quarantine food that I've been eating. So I'm okay. Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Well, you mentioned tater tots earlier. I mean, I guess.
Yeah. And Coach Mo can eat too. So her and I together, we can put down some food. So
I'll remember that. If I'm ever at the women's golf banquet, I'll be sure to eat first.
You won't go home hungry. I can promise you that.
Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach. Hey, finally, just anything else that we missed, Coach, that you want to highlight as we check in with you?
Yeah, thanks, Joey. So just a couple points I wanted to hit. Our recent graduates, Kathleen Scavo and Amy Matsuoka, I'm so proud of them. They're actually competing on what's called the Symetra Tour. And so that's the level just below the LPGA. So they're out there grinding and playing and trying to make it playing professionally. I think they teed up this week in Florida. And so really proud of them. And then also our academic superstar, Petra Salco, recent graduate a few years ago, who actually was the winner of that inaugural Rose Bowl post-grad scholarship. She was just accepted and just began pursuing her master's degree in finance at the Copenhagen Business School in Denmark. And so our ladies are doing great, still working hard, whether it's, in the classroom or on the golf course. And I'm extremely proud of all of them.
Well, and you guys always have had a high bar around the women's golf, and that's been the culture with academics. And I mean that goes a long way. And Petra, I think, might be now the staple of what that means for student athlete, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. Forever grateful for her and that name that's etched in the floor of the Jayquan Center. So
yeah, that's a pretty cool deal. Derek Radley, hey, thanks for the time. Stay safe, you and your family, and I hope that we're seeing you here actually in person sooner than later. So here's to getting back to normal, and thanks for always catching up with us. I appreciate it.
Can't wait, buddy. Thank you so much, Joey. Take care.
That was great catching up with Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach. They're setting seriously a new bar for what that program can do. It's been really, really cool to watch. Ending at 14th ranked in the country, just continuing to build that program into a very, very legit title contender, not just in the Pac-12 for a national championship. I mean, if you're competing in the Pac-12 for a Pac-12 championship, chances are you might win a national championship. Derek Radley, I want to say thanks again for taking the time to join us. Today's show brought to you by Jackson's Food Stores, proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. Stop by your local neighborhood Jackson's for all your game day essentials with everyday specials on game day necessities. You'll have everything that you need for the big game. Go Ducks. Your Cafe 2-minute drill, news and notes around Oregon athletics to finish up Duck Insider after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Join us tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, across the Oregon football social media channels and the Go Ducks YouTube page and across the Oregon Sports Network for our next edition of Great Ducks. We're talking lockdown corners this week, cornerbacks. I've got my list put together. I actually just talked to Jerry this morning. He's got his list put together. Jorgie, I should say, and Terry do as well. I'm looking forward to it. Cornerbacks was a tough one because the breakdown between corners and safeties, I'll be honest, that there were some guys that still in the record book we list as DBs, right? And football's changed a lot, so I had to kind of figure out which guys do I want to put on which lists, and it's kind of fun actually to research some of the guys. Even I got one guy on my list who played for the Ducks in the 40s. I'm looking forward to having that. Great Ducks on the Oregon Sports Network and the Oregon Football social media channels, 5 o'clock every Tuesday for Great Ducks. Let's finish up today with your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. If you missed it earlier, Justin Herbert with an electric NFL debut. A passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a very solid performance with a quarterback rating of 94.4, 22 of 33, 311 yards. A pretty good day at the office, even though the Chiefs came back and won. Pretty good day for Justin Herbert in that NFL debut. And Ugo Chukwuemadi also with a great play as part of your Products update. And your Products calendar just gets better and better. Always check Goducks.com for that Products calendar because we've got some softball in action the next few days for Products as well. That does it for me today. Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, serving Northwest-inspired catering and takeout for your next gathering or meeting. Menus, cafeyum.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart savings strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your